Talk about our next guest. Jason Tardio is the president and chief operating officer of Immunic Therapeutics. Their ticker symbol, IMUX, and we are so glad to have him back on the Big Biz Show. Jason, how you doing, my friend?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me.
In fact, Jason, you're going to come on more than that because every time I use the word MS, I get a bunch of email. My mom's got MS and one of my daughters has MS. And every time we talk about MS, you look at, we have 80 million TV homes. We're in 175 countries and all the ships at sea and on several networks. And I got to tell you, this is one of those diseases that people are not afraid to talk about it because they want to know, what the next. My mom has one form of MS. My daughter has another form of MS. My mom takes oral medication. My daughter does infusions twice a year, and my daughter has just a regular. She got it young enough to she had a regular life. But you guys are really changing the face, of the sort of the biggest leaps and gains on a disease that's been around for a while. Talk about what you guys do.
So at Immunic Therapeutics, we develop innovative small molecule therapies to address unmet needs within chronic inflammatory and autoimmune related diseases. And our most advanced asset is a medicine called vidofludimus calcium that's currently in phase 3 development for relapsing forms of multiple sclerosis. And earlier this year, we reported results with that same asset in a phase 2 study in progressive forms of multiple sclerosis. So that's our lead product, and we're quite excited about what we have.
Yeah, if you walk us through how the therapy works with a certain patient, because it's criteria specific to a certain type of MS, or is it all MS overreaching, or could it be?
We're trying to address the full spectrum of multiple sclerosis. So multiple sclerosis, there's a couple different subtypes of multiple sclerosis. You have relapsing forms of MS, which accounts for about 75% of all diagnosed cases of the disease. And then you have two subtypes of progressive forms of multiple sclerosis. The first of which is called secondary progressive multiple sclerosis. That accounts for about 15% of the diagnosed population. And then lastly, but certainly not least, is primary progressive multiple sclerosis, and that accounts for about 10% of the MS diagnosed population. And MS is a disease of both neuroinflammation and neurodegeneration. And so ideally you want a medicine that's a potent anti-inflammatory medicine to address the neuroinflammation, but you also need a medicine that's neuroprotective in nature to address the neurodegenerative component of the disease. And there's 20 or so medicines available today. All of them address the inflammatory aspect of the disease, but there's really no medicine today truly acting as a real neuroprotective medicine. And vidofludimus calcium will do just that. It is an inhibitor of an enzyme called DHODH, which is a known, proven mechanistic approach to address inflammation. And it's the first and only medicine in development that activates a target called NER1, which we know will provide neuroprotective benefits. So our hope with vidofludimus is that it will be a tablet taken once a day that can address the full spectrum of the disease.
That is quality of life changing. I mean, really, obviously not just treating a disease, but when your quality of life to the point where you're not sitting and doing infusions for 6 hours at a time, you're able to pill in your pocket therapy, so to speak. That is as important, don't you think, Jason?
Without a doubt. I mean, remember, multiple sclerosis is a chronic disease. And so individuals diagnosed with this disease need to take medicine for the remainder of their life. And adherence and compliance to medicines is a concern. And patients just like the convenience of being able to take a tablet once a day at home. And so we hope to offer a very unique and innovative approach for individuals living with the disease.
Jason Tardio, President and COO, Immunic Therapeutics. Their ticker symbol is IMUX.
Hey, Jason, you mentioned relapsing MS. It sounded like that was the highest percentage of people that are afflicted with MS. Now, is that exactly what it sounds like, where you have flare-ups and then maybe it's under control and then it comes back again and maybe worse, and so you're constantly trying to monitor it? And could your therapy, vidofludimus calcium, did I say that right?
Very good.
You would take it whether you're a relapse or not, and just kind of steady keeping it in check.
Correct. So relapsing forms of the multiple sclerosis is exactly how you described it. Individuals have inflammatory disease, and this is hallmarked by these constant flare-ups that the patients experience. And when they have these flare-ups, there's a number of different symptoms that they can experience: upper or lower limb weakness, bowel and bladder dysfunction, cognitive dysfunction. And ultimately, when they have relapses, sometimes patients fully recover, but most times they do not. And over time, you get this accumulation of disability that's called relapse-associated worsening. And so what we strive to do with vidofludimus calcium is to prevent the relapses, to prevent new lesions that you can see on MRI, and ultimately to prevent a disability accumulation. Now, on the progressive side, it's a little bit different. Patients with progressive multiple sclerosis don't have these flare-ups. In the secondary progressive forms, they have advanced in their disease in which they're no longer having relapses and they purely just have cognitive and physical decline. And in primary progressive multiple sclerosis, these patients were never diagnosed with relapses. They were just diagnosed with a form of the disease in which there's this constant slippery slope of disability accumulation.
Hey, Jason, we're up against the clock here, but I want to have you on again next week, and I'll tell you why. Because what you're doing is differentiating your drug in this MS market from anybody else. And I think if you look at the arc of the story with the FDA and everything else, you guys are further along towards commercialization than almost anyone. I want to spend some time talking about that. In the meantime, what's it look like for you guys for the next, what do we got, 6 weeks left in the year or something like that? Is it still beating the drum, or what are you looking forward to most here for the rest of this year and the next 6 months?
Well, this was a very, very successful year for the company. We fully enrolled our phase 3 program in relapsing MS, the ENSURE trials, and we expect readout from those trials in about 1 year, Q4 of 2026. We also reported positive phase 2 data in CALIBR study in progressive MS. So it's been a very exciting year, and we look forward to reading out additional data next year to hopefully help patients and individuals living with multiple sclerosis.
Good stuff.
He is Jason Tardio, the President and Chief Operating Officer of Immunic Therapeutics.
And he's coming back next week because we got more to talk about.
Yeah.
You made the invite public. It's out over the air. He has to come back. Ticker symbol is IMUX. All right, keep it here.